Welcome back, everyone. We are diving straight into today's explainer, and oh man, we are stepping right back into the twilight world of Umbreth. You know, that place that doesn't actually sit on any map? It kind of just hangs beneath it. Right in that quiet little space between heartbeats where forgotten things go to wait. Black rivers, eternal twilight, absolute laws, the whole shebang. But today, we're looking at the breathtaking emotional conclusion of a story where those absolute laws are totally broken. We're going to break down the poignant finale of the Ghost King, Vaeron, a ruler literally stitched together from the last breaths of 1,000 warriors who ruled without feeling a thing for 300 years. And Mira, the warm, mortal woman who changed absolutely everything. Let's get right into this unforgettable romance. I'm going to ruin myself for you. Just let that hang in the air for a second. It's profound, right? It's completely heartbreaking. That single sentence from Vaeron perfectly sets up the heavy, romantic stakes of our story. We're not just talking about some chance meeting here. This is the story of a ghost king, a being made of mist, iron, and fog, looking at a fragile, living human and making the conscious decision that he is willing to completely destroy himself just to experience love. The sheer weight of that sacrifice is exactly what we're going to unpack today. So, you're probably wondering, how exactly does a being made of literal mist go about courting a mortal woman? Well, that brings us to what's known as the courtship of shadows. The dead don't feel, and direct physical contact could actually tear the veil between life and death. So, Vaeron has to figure out a way to express this aching desire without shattering those super fragile laws. It's actually beautiful how Vaeron's courtship escalates. It starts off incredibly quietly. One night, he just appears in her dreams. Not as this terrifying king, but just as a man of mist. He sits with her under a dream version of a banyan tree, just listening to her talk about her brother and how lonely she is. Then, one morning, an actual physical token crosses the veil. A single, unwilting marigold left right on her windowsill, a gift defying death itself. But the real turning point? That happens at midnight. When a pack of wolves comes for her flock, Vaeron steps right in between them. Now, ghosts can't kill, but he breathes out this cold that is so deep, frost literally clings to their fur and chases them off. It's this fierce, protective act of total defiance. And right after that terrifying display of power, that is when Mira truly sees him. She's standing there in the moonlight, shivering, totally vulnerable, and suddenly realizing the sheer, terrifying magnitude of the entity that's been quietly watching over her. She's shaking, and she just asks, "Are you going to hurt me?" It's this incredible moment where pure mortal terror meets immortal devotion. And Vaeron, his voice all rough from 300 years of not being used, gives her this haunting promise. He tells her he won't hurt her. He will ruin himself for her. Now that promise wasn't just him being poetic. It carries a literal fatal weight, known as the curse of fating. According to ancient law, a ghost who loves a mortal will basically burn out like a candle. With every single interaction, they lose pieces of their existence. And the crazy thing is, Vaeron is already feeling it. His hands are starting to grow transparent. His voice is beginning to echo whenever he speaks. He is actively sacrificing his eternal existence just for the chance to be near her. To put that into perspective, just look at the grim mathematics of this sacrifice. It's terrifying. Just one single touch, that costs him a year of his existence. One kiss costs a decade. And to love her fully, like to actually hold her and be held by her, that would unmake him entirely. Every single moment of physical warmth strips away a fragment of his eternal soul. He is quite literally paying for intimacy with his own being. So naturally, Varen's parents, the first spirits, who are these ancient beings made of wind and memory, confront him. They demand he stop before there is literally nothing left of him. But his response is absolute. He tells them, "I'd rather be nothing with her than be king without her." I mean, wow. Let the finality of that choice really sink in. He is offered eternal kingship, or total oblivion, and he chooses oblivion. Why? Simply because it means he gets to choose her. Which brings us to this impossible tension and the sensory climax of the whole story. Picture this. There's a heavy downpour, right? And it's sharply contrasting with this vibrant, loud village festival happening in a distance. Mira escapes all the noise and runs to the ancient banyan tree. And there she finds Varen, who at this point is way more mist than man, standing there, completely ready to face the absolute end. This scene is a stunning collision of dualities in the dark. On one side, you've got Varen, representing the cold of the grave, a fading existence made entirely of mist, bound by these unyielding eternal laws of the dead. And then on the other side, there's Mira. She's warm, she's vividly alive, and yes, fragile in her mortality. But her strength actually lies in that mortal wisdom she deeply understands and accepts that all things eventually end. Varen tries to warn her. He explicitly tells her that he is dying because he chose her, and that if she loves him back, she is going to be tied to something that absolutely cannot last. And Mira, claiming her own fierce agency, just replies, "Everything ends, but while they're here, we love them anyway." She completely refuses to let fear dictate her heart. She knows the cost, she fully grasps the inevitability of loss, and yet she consciously chooses to love anyway. It's an act of profound human courage. And then, the moment that changes absolutely everything. They touch. As Mira's fingers brush his, it's a total sensory overload. She feels the terrifying, raw essence of what he actually is. Winter, grief, the absolute bottom of a deep well. But right beneath that overwhelming cold, she feels his warmth, his final, precious warmth that he is freely giving to her. And Varen, he literally gasps. For the first time in 300 long years, he feels something other than duty. He feels her, alive, real, and finally, his. Now, by all the strict laws of Umbreth, Varen should have instantly turned to dust right then and there, but the sheer weight of his sacrifice triggers something totally unprecedented. The absolute laws of the dead are about to be broken, bringing us to what is known as the Hours of the Moon. It's incredible to see how the first spirits actually step in and bend the law to do the impossible here. First, they intervene and miraculously spare Varen from turning to dust. They kind of realize that a king who would give up his throne for love is, well, still a king. Second, they transform Varen into this in-between entity. He isn't fully a ghost anymore, but he certainly isn't fully alive either. And third, this transformation grants them a delicate, stolen window of time. He's allowed to walk the human world and be with Mira for just a few hours each day, but only when the moon is high. The result is this beautiful, somewhat melancholy balance. It's a true mix of grief and gift. Mira is going to grow older. She's mortal, counting her heartbeats. Varen, on the other hand, remains immortal. He returns to rule Umbrath, but with a newfound kindness, measuring his existence by counting moons until he can see her again. They are forever bound beneath that banyan tree, striking this eternal compromise between a mortal heartbeat and the immortal night. Ultimately, it's a story that beautifully captures the timeless, universal cost of love, right? A king of shadows and a girl with a clay lantern choosing a fleeting reality over an empty eternity. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a thought to really ponder. When faced with the absolute certainty that everything eventually ends, what would you be willing to sacrifice for just a fleeting moment of true connection? Take some time to think about that. Thanks for joining me today, and until next time, take care.